All right, guys, we finally made it. Finally, we have Game 7 of the NBA Finals tonight, but that's not what today's video is about. You guys know earlier today, it broke from Shams Charania that the Phoenix Suns are trading two-time NBA Finals MVP Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. Hey, I know this has been like 4 hours by the time you watch this video. It's a nice day out here. I was out on the boat for a while with some family, so it's fine. It is what it is. I'm not going to be one of the first people to make a video. That's okay. But I mean, yeah, no, Houston gets Kevin Durant. There was real talks that the finals were Houston and Miami, and Houston ended up winning the bid war, which honestly I'm happy about because I didn't really understand the whole allure of him going to Miami. I didn't think it was like, I didn't really understand what he was going to do there. I think Houston is one of the better fitting spots. I mean, obviously there was San Antonio as well, but I know they're trying to deal things with the second overall pick, and I don't think you're going to give up pick number 2 for Kevin Durant. So, I mean, hey, it's a decent return. I think, honestly, I think the Rockets got out of this without giving up too much. Now, Kevin Durant is 37 years old, so I think a lot of the initial reactions are only 1 first-round pick in 5 seconds, but you are getting Jalen Green, who's in his early 20s. I know he's very, very up and down. You're getting one of the better wing defenders and a scrappy guy in Dillon Brooks. You get number 10 this year in 5 seconds. Kevin Durant is 37 years old. You kind of got what value. You're not going to see the 4 or 5 first-round picks for Kevin Durant you saw a couple years ago, because unfortunately, just objectively, he is a bit worse at this point in time. Still a phenomenal player, still an All-NBA level player, but there is levels to it. I mean, yeah, if I look at, for Houston, they kept Fred VanVleet, they kept Jabari Smith, they kept Amin Thompson. There was a few people that, like, people were afraid that, hey, if they wanted Kevin Durant, they're going to give up some of these people, and they didn't have to give up any of them outside of Jalen Green, and I think they're all fine giving up Dillon Brooks because you have Jabari, you have Amin Thompson. You're hoping Cam Whitmore takes a step this year, but there's also, I was also kind of shocked that Cam Whitmore wasn't in this trade. I thought maybe he'd be in the trade package as well. But hey, you know what? I think if you're Houston, you walk out of this as a big dub, because, I mean, you could start anything of, like, Fred VanVleet, Amin, I don't know who's going to play the 3. Like, it could be Kevin Durant and Jabari and Alperen Sengun. Maybe Jabari stays on the bench for Kevin Durant. I don't know. They have some things to figure out at that, like, 2 and 3 position, how they want Amin to play and stuff like that, because Amin as a shooter just really isn't up there enough of a good shooter right now that I don't know what's going to go on with that, but I don't think it really matters. Do I think this makes Houston a contender? I think that's the big part of this trade, is that, you know, this Houston Rockets team was the number 2 seed this year. Obviously, they lose in the first round of the playoffs to a more experienced Golden State Warriors team, and now they have, again, a 2-time Finals MVP, multiple-time Finals winner in Kevin Durant on their team. That is, like, the experience you need, because going into the playoffs, a lot of people were saying that the Rockets were a fake 2 seed because they just don't have much playoff experience. Well, there we go. You got some playoff experience now. You were in the playoffs this year again, so I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be hard not to look at them as contenders, because I think this is just a much better built team than that Phoenix Suns team was. Yeah, they had Devin Booker, Bradley Beal-ish, I don't know how you feel about him anymore, and Kevin Durant, like, yeah, that's some great players, but outside of them 3, it wasn't very good, and they also had their injury issues and stuff like that. But, like, this Rockets team is full of a lot of good players. Again, I mentioned VanVleet, who, again, I think is going to take a cheaper deal, it sounds like, but you have Amin Thompson, who was phenomenal last year. You have Dillon Brooks. You have Alperen Sengun. You have Jabari Smith. You have Cam Whitmore. You have Reed Shepherd. I didn't even mention him about potentially starting this season. I don't know if he will, but still, Reed Shepherd's there as well. You just bring back Steven Adams. So, like, they have a lot of pieces on this Rockets team that I think, you know, is in 2025, 2026, which for next season for the Rockets, is Kevin Durant good enough to be a number 1 on the championship team? I don't know, but I think we're also seeing a shift in, like, the way championships are won. I mean, yes, you still want to have a top 10 player in the world. You kind of still need a top 10 player in the world to win a championship. But you're looking at this Indiana Pacers team this year that last year was in the conference finals, and this year is forcing a Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Maybe by the time you watch it, they've won. Maybe they lost. Either way, they got to a Game 7 of an NBA Final where Tyrese Halliburton isn't a top 10 player. Maybe he's top 15, top 20, but, like, he's not that top 10 guy, but they just have such a good cast around him that maybe that's the way that things are going now. Maybe a Kevin Durant at 37, 38 years old is a good enough top 20-ish level player, which I think he still definitely is, that, like, he has the good role players around him enough that to elevate him, and they're gonna do a lot of work on the defensive end of the ball, so he doesn't have to. If he can really lock into being a scorer, I think this could be really good. I think the Rockets 100% could be a contender this year. I mean, they still have to go against OKC. You only expect OKC to get better with more experience now. They have a bunch of picks. Maybe they do something in this offseason. Maybe the Thunder do make a big trade this offseason now that Kevin Durant is in Houston. Obviously, the Lakers have Luka and LeBron. Houston was really good this year. Like, there's so many teams in the Western Conference that it's going to be tough. There's nobody easy coming out of the Western Conference. So I look at them as contenders, but I still don't think they're the best team in the West, which I don't really know if you were going to be the best team in the West unless you brought in a Giannis, which I don't think was really ever going to be on their radar. I'm really excited for it, though. It seems like this is somewhere he could last. Like, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but I kind of would like Kevin Durant to like find somewhere to finish the rest of his career out. I think it would be, I mean, Kevin Durant's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think he's doing anything at this point in time that's hurting his legacy any. But I would like, it would be nice if he's like, okay, Houston's where I want to be. I'm going to finish the last 3 to 4 years of my career here, however long he's there for, and compete for championships because Kevin Durant since leaving Golden State has been like he had the Brooklyn, he had the Phoenix, where it was like trying to build these teams with these top end level players and then kind of like bad benches, and it just hasn't really worked. So I'm hoping him on a team like this, it's a more well, kind of like fleshed out team with a better roster. I don't know. I think this could be some of the better, more meaningful Kevin Durant basketball we've seen in the past 2 or 3 years, and I'm really, really excited for it. Now, if we're looking at the Phoenix Suns side, they get Jalen Green, who like I think wasn't there reports earlier that they could potentially flip Jalen Green if they get him. They didn't really want him. I don't know if that's still going to hold true, but they get Jalen Green, who's a young scoring guard. I mean, he's still like 23, maybe. Like, he's super young. He's a scoring guard. He's an inefficient and like inconsistent scoring guard, but he can very much get on a hot streak. You get, again, Dillon Brooks, who is one of the better perimeter defenders. He's going to bring a lot of grit to that Phoenix team, that Phoenix Suns team that didn't have it like at all. You have number 10 this year, which could get you something. I think at this point in time, Devin Booker is going to stay in Phoenix, which is fine. If he wants to be a Phoenix guy his whole career, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I don't know, maybe did they just have him play point guard now and have Jalen Green run to 2 beside him? I don't know what the backcourt of Devin Booker, Jalen Green looks like. I don't know if I love that. Dillon Brooks, again, Dillon Brooks is going to fit pretty well with this Suns team, who they have Nick Richards and Osa Iguodala down at the center spot, which is fine. Like, I guess they don't really have a 4. They have Dillon Brooks. They have the guy they drafted last year, Ryan Dunn. So some more defending wings. You have Jalen Green. You have Devin Booker. You have, again, number 10. I mean, it's not a bad spot to be in a rebuild. But again, when you have a guy like Devin Booker, you're kind of trying not to rebuild at this point in his career. So I don't think you got too much in this trade that's able to be like reflipped. Like, if you want to reflip Jalen Green in the 10th pick, you maybe could, but I don't know what that's going to really get you. Like, I think you got, again, also Kevin Durant made it very, very clear that he did not want to be there. And once the player makes it clear they don't want to be there, it's hard for the team like the Suns, like the Suns, we're going to have a hard time getting a lot for Kevin Durant when he's made it very clear he doesn't want to be in Phoenix. So all these teams like, well, he doesn't want to be there anyway. You have to trade him anyway, so we'll give you this. And that could be what it was. Like, maybe they're just, the offers for him weren't that crazy because he's 1, 37, and 2, he's made it very clear he don't want to be. And like, unfortunately, Kevin Durant's a guy you can't really like plan. You can't really plan your future around Kevin Durant because he has no problem if he's unhappy leaving, which is fine. Like, some players are just like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I do think, kind of similar to like the whole De'Aaron Fox situation with Sacramento, is when a player makes it very clear they want to go somewhere. Like, they're like, I want to leave, and there's a team I want to go to. It makes it easy for those other teams to only throw you subpar offers because, like, well, you kind of have to give into them. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't know. Like, Phoenix, I don't really know. I don't know. And I know that sounds stupid to say, but it's like they don't have their pick next year either. They don't have a lot of picks going forward. They did do that trade in the middle of the season to unlock some of their future picks. Like, they have 3 firsts and 8 seconds that they're able to use in trades, which is cool. And we saw a lot of second round picks get thrown around for trades. So I'm sure they're not done. I'm sure they're going to make at least one more trade going into next season. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if next year they're running a Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Ryan Dunn, Dillon Brooks, Osa Iguodala lineup. Maybe something along those lines. They're going to be bad. But then again, you don't really have your pick. So I don't really know what Phoenix is doing from this point in time. But I'm sure they're not done. I'm sure here soon enough, Phoenix is going to be making a pretty decent sized trade.